An uncontrollable force, unlocking life and unleashing chaos. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Yeah, it's behind us. Go, go, go!
More terrifying.
Oh, the house is going, the house is going!
And even more catastrophic.
Get away from the windows now! Come on!
With incredible self-shot footage.
Oh my God!
Please, pray for us.
From the front line of fear.
I just remember thinking this. Are you joking? Is that what was coming at us?
We witness firsthand.
It feels like you're in a war.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
I thought for sure he was going to drown.
There is nothing you can do to stop a wall of flame that's devouring everything it touches. No, 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 no.
From twisted tales of terror.
Unbelievable.
Go!
There was warnings out there, but I underestimated Mother Nature.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
All we see is like the ocean just coming towards us.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Everything around you that you worked so hard for, just gone.
We meet the people who have stared death in the face.
It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
I don't think either of us intended to get hit by the core of the tornado.
And survive the full force of the world's deadliest weather. Coming up, wind-fueled wildfires rain hell on California, endangering homes and leaving commuters hot under the collar.
It was much more serious than I'd realized.
Sodden soil causes an entire village to collapse into the sea.
When the ground was tearing apart, now I have to get out of there.
And a backcountry skier tumbles into a chilly torrent of trouble.
Started to take in the thought that I might be dying at this moment. In the USA, the state of California. Hot, dry summers here desiccate soil and vegetation, making the entire state a tinderbox. And as autumn sets in, a steady wind called the Santa Ana is like rocket fuel to wildfires.
The wind is really ripping.
October 2019. Gusts of 76 miles per hour and low humidity helped stoke a huge fire in Sonoma County. As fires rage through the backcountry towards the towns, retired firefighter Todd Sudmeyer documents the struggle to save the suburbs.
Okay, I'm gonna cross this and go out there. If I don't fall and break my neck.
I could actually see the main fire front moving. It was moving at a critical rate of spread. It would just run across these little valley floors or these openings, so the wind was really pushing it.
There's a whole housing development out there, and there's a neighborhood right up there. And they've got multiple strike teams deployed, a couple engines in each block around there.
Units form a perimeter around residential areas. But with hundreds of miles to protect, it's a thin line of defense. And the enemy has the potential to cover a much wider area.
This isn't the main advancing fire front or anything like that. This is just one small portion of this fire.
Red-hot embers called firebrands have breached the protective line, striking a rural residential area.
You can see all these firebrands still just blowing out of these treetops here.
There were some trees that were 30, 40-foot trees, and I'm sure that the flames were 50, 60 foot beyond that. The first structure that we rolled up on, the garage, it was a detached garage, and it was well involved. With the winds that they had, there was no chance of saving that garage. It was throwing a lot of firebrands or embers. That presented another problem because the eaves of the house were catching some of those embers with the wind.
The burning garage threatens to take the main house with it. But out here, the only water supply is what's in the truck.
Sometimes it's not always readily available, especially in rural areas where there's just not hydrants. In those situations, the firefighter on the nozzle, he knows this. He knows that he needs to conserve as much water as possible.
Despite their conservative efforts, the crew are running out of water. Luckily, in California, many people have pools.
Now they've got all that water to play with right there. Got a little crash pump in there. They can fill up their tank. They can fight fire. That has multiple uses. Oh, that thing will bust out some pressure.
Yeah, boy!
There we go. And they always will try and grab local water source anytime they can. Now that they've got this unlimited water supply from this pool, they'll go after this. Kind of hell of a job knocking this thing down.
With the garage on the ground, the house is safe. But the same day in Sacramento, winds blow a grass fire towards the highway. On the road that morning is Teresa Honecker. But she's unaware of just how close the flames have got to the freeway.
I compete in CrossFit as I go to the gym, and that's where I was headed that day. And I jumped on the freeway and started heading that direction and noticed a lot of smoke.
Cars slow to a snail's pace, and a passenger in a nearby vehicle captures the eerie scene.
It was definitely a little bit spooky, and the smoke was getting really heavy at that point.
Ripping down the grass verge beside them is the source of the smoke.
I could see the fire on both sides, and it shocked me how much heat I could feel inside my car, even though I had the air conditioner running. The smoke was pouring into my vehicle. I'm really scared. This is big, and we're stuck on the freeway, and there's nowhere to go.
The motorists are in the traffic jam from hell.
There were a couple people that actually abandoned their cars on the freeway and ran off because they did get engulfed in flames.
But for Teresa, running from her car is not a possibility.
I'm a paraplegic, so I have use of my hands, and that moment I felt way less able to take care of myself. I was definitely panicked and somewhat in tears at that point, just because it had hit me that I can't run from this. I've only been injured 8 years, so it's the other part of me that remembers how able-bodied I was and how I could survive something that, when you could move quickly. It hit me that that was not an option for me. It was pretty scary. It made me think this is not the way I want to die.
September 2017. And Irma, a hurricane of record-breaking strength, approaches Florida. On a 2-day rampage, the monster storm has devastated the Caribbean, causing $10 billion worth of damage. Now, its sights are set on Miami. Residents are ordered to evacuate immediately, or at least stay inside.
Miami Beach, Thursday night. It feels kind of like it did back in the 80s, actually. It's pretty darn quiet out here. ready for the hurricane.
Lucas Brunel has been competition cycling for over 30 years, with a compulsion for pedaling in extreme weather.
I love riding in the worst weather. I mean, that's when I light up.
Empty highway. We got a killer tailwind.
You are all of a sudden immersed in nature, where you just cannot see, in front of you, and you want to go faster, and you want to feel it more.
Saturday, and as Irma's outer rain bands approach Miami, Lucas has a front row seat on the 27th floor.
I've turned my apartment into a little fortress, hopefully.
The winds are blowing so bad that the windows in my condo are going like this. I didn't know they could go like this. I didn't know that the windows would bend.
With the rising wind already pounding apartments, it's not the safest time to go for a spin.
Beautiful morning. Hit the beach.
South Beach had mandatory evacuations. To have that whole South Beach to ourselves to ride around it. What a feeling. Who gets to do that? It did cross my mind a couple of times that it might be too dangerous or something might happen and there's nobody there to respond to us.
Despite breaking the rules, Lucas and his buddy Adrian have experience with pedaling in hazardous environments.
We took an emergency locator beacon with us and called friends who we knew were capable of search and rescue before we'd ever use the beacon. We had first aid. It kind of felt like the calm before the storm, but then it also felt like it was building and giving us a taste of what was to come. We would go down these avenues and get these winds and be like, whoa, this is new. This is not typical Miami wind.
Here we go.
As the day progressed, the hurricane got stronger and stronger, and the immersion into it got more intense.
Oh my God, dude, that corner was awesome.
Mid-afternoon, the hurricane's most violent winds are yet to come.
Oh, go between those.
With every minute, the streets become increasingly deadly.
You've got white water on the street from the flooding. The water in some places was 2 feet deep, and winds that were pushing you in all these directions. There was a fair amount of debris flying. There was coconuts and metal shrapnel at one point.
Oh my God. Oh, look at that. Oh. Yeah.
As wind speed increases, so do the cyclists.
There was a couple of times that we were doing 35, 40 miles an hour with no effort. We could have gone a lot faster, have some restraint because there's nobody out there to save you. We would get these winds that when we crossed the intersection would want to blow us off the bike. And so we were almost never prepared for what the wind was going to do.
Wind blasting across one intersection proves too strong for Lucas's friend.
The wind literally just blew Adrian off of his bike when he was trying to make a gradual turn.
With Adrian now injured and Irma still intensifying, the men head for home. But that means cycling against the wind.
You felt like you're in an all-out sprint, like you're in the most difficult race of your life, going against that wind. There were actually a lot of times that we couldn't do it, and so we would have to walk somewhere and then try to, brace each other and get back on the bikes and start pedaling.
The pair make it back to the apartment just in time, before the full force of the hurricane sets in.
37th floor, and the building is actually moving along with all of this. And the wind was getting stronger. I'll show you something. The tub was in waves because the building was swaying. Look at how much that tub is moving. I'd never been in a building swaying that much. That was amazing. That's the building flexing. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and this is still going on. And, you know, we're still safeguarding everything. And honestly, you actually feel like you're gonna die. Then, about 3 o'clock in the morning, everything kind of just went, and it was peaceful.
The morning after, Lucas returns to the seafront.
The whole beach has been evacuated, and it's as beautiful as ever. The sun is shining, the birds are out, and it's beautiful weather. It was the craziest thing.
At its peak, over 1,000 miles from Miami, Hurricane Irma carried devastating 180-mile-per-hour winds, taking the lives of at least 50 people. If Lucas took a spin in that, it's unlikely he'd be cycling today.
I'm not telling people to go ride in a hurricane. I mean, it's not something I recommend. It was a miracle, actually, that we didn't get hit by something really hard. And so, stay safe.
In Sacramento, California, Teresa Honecker is trapped in a traffic jam with a huge grass fire raging her way.
I could see the fire coming. It was moving very fast towards us. The smoke was getting very heavy. I was getting scared. There was nowhere to go. Being in a wheelchair, that's when it all hit me that there was no way for me to open my door and run if I had to.
With fire blocking the way ahead, traffic is gridlocked. Teresa needs a way of escape. In a nearby field, the far side of the highway fence, is Gerald Contreras.
It was just before noon and I was out. I had a new camera with me that I wanted to kind of try out a little bit, and so I was taking a few shots when I noticed there was some smoke in the area. It was very windy and I wanted to see what was burning. You could tell that something was burning really fast and really heavy, and it was pretty intense. It had pretty much stopped the traffic on the interstate. Traffic was backed up for a few miles. There were signs that things were getting urgent. There was a lot of confusion. It was much more serious than I'd realized.
The fire may soon engulf the cars.
I noticed that there was a hole in the fence and there were several cars at this opening. A little unsure if they wanted to come through this opening because there was a deep ravine and they just weren't sure if they could get through.
If you're gonna go, come on, straight down.
Without hesitation, Gerald begins directing traffic.
Come on. Go. Down. This way. Go.
I was just trying to tell them that it was okay to come down this ravine.
Go, forward up here. Come on. Go ahead. Get him going. Get him out of the car. Hey. Get down. Go.
One car after another kept coming through, and as the fire got a little bit closer, things picked up, and we just tried to move as many cars as we could through that opening. The fire was moving at a pretty fast pace. The winds were gusting over 50 miles an hour. I wanted to make sure everybody got through the opening as quick as possible because I knew they were panicking. It was kind of hard to see the fire all the time because of all the smoke, but we knew it was coming.
Come on.
I knew we were running out of time.
In the agonizingly slow queue of traffic is Teresa.
Some cars started going down there, and I waited because they were like SUVs. I was like, okay, can I get out of there without totally turning my car over? And I watched enough cars go through there that I got in line.
If her car is immobilized, then so is she. So Teresa gingerly drives down. She escapes unharmed, and soon all the cars are through.
Go. Right up here.
I could feel the heat, I could taste the smoke. And that's what hit me too, is how quickly that happened. Like you can get engulfed with smoke so fast. My car smelled like smoke for weeks after that.
Did everybody get out?
I feel really grateful that we were brave enough to start funneling out to escape what was happening.
The whole event probably only was about 10 minutes. I was really glad that everybody got out okay and that there were no issues other than a few burned cars. It could have been a lot worse.
But in Sonoma County, wildfires are still raging. Retired firefighter Todd joins former colleagues as fires threaten yet more people's homes.
We've still got extremely strong erratic winds. They're still throwing firebrands all over the place.
The next morning, the fire was almost to some of the residential neighborhoods.
6281, be advised, I'm up about 20, you're at 240 now.
It was advancing pretty rapidly. There were multiple strike teams or groups of engines that were assigned to protect those homes. They got set up in there and they stretched their lines out to be ready to defend the homes.
The fire corners the houses in a pincer attack, raining red-hot embers from the sky, while simultaneously burning beneath the soil.
Well, this thing's giving them trouble, so this is all peat, right?
The smoking peat fire advances on the houses, igniting everything it touches.
Hey! 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 Water! Right there! Look at the valve!
We're going to be looking at probably needing to do structure defense south of everything here.
Now the fire has reached backyards. The firefighters must move quickly from house to house.
You can't stretch your hose to one backyard and pull your hose out and go to the next. There's no time. It's faster to stretch and then just extend the hose and follow it down. I mean, they had to bust down the fences and they had to do all these things just to get in there and slow everything down. You know, give them a second to deal with the amount of fire.
One fence threatens to spread to a house. But the team don't have enough hose to put out the blaze.
These guys are gonna clamp this off. They're gonna add another section so they can get a little closer. So he'll keep spraying until they're ready to clamp.
They need to turn off the water to attach the extra hose. But they have to be pit-stop fast to prevent the fire from reaching the house.
All right, they're gonna do a really quick transition.
30 Charlie, trainee, 30 Charlie.
All right, so they're getting it going.
Hey, one more girl! All right.
Here we go. Almost ready.
30 seconds later, and the water's back on.
The firefighters are doing the best job they can do to the best ability that they have to save everything they can save.
Hey, don't forget what's on your left, all right? I want you to knock that down. We want to get you before you
go ahead. Progressing with body head.
The fence fire is out. And soon, the advancing fire is contained.
More homes kept out of harm's way. This one will be here when they get home. So you can see what these guys did, right? They just popped a hole in the fence. They defended this home. Then they kicked the wall down. They came right through here, defended this home. Then we're standing in the backyard. They knocked all this down. Then they kicked the wall down again, and they defended this home, all from their engine, which is 3 houses away. That's structure defense right there.
In just 2 weeks, in Sonoma County alone, wildfires charged hundreds of miles of land and nearly 400 buildings, including 174 homes. But that number would have been far greater if not for the fire service's tireless efforts.
You know, that's a great feeling. Going back and driving through the same neighborhoods and seeing all the homes and the personal belongings to the people that are still left that the firefighters were able to save. If the firefighters were not there, it would have had a much different outcome.
When dangerous weather strikes, first responders are the fearless front line against Mother Nature, saving the day come fire or flooding. In China, firefighters respond to reports a motorcycle is stranded in a flooded river. Animal instincts kick in to save the precious cargo, 13 piglets. Luckily, the firefighters really saved their bacon. In India, the army launch a frantic search for survivors when a sudden avalanche buries 2 men alive. Amazingly, both victims survive and were taken to hospital for treatment. In Croatia, this dog is frozen by fear after chasing swans on an icy lake. She won't survive for long in sub-zero temperatures, so this brave fireman slides over to save her. Uncertain about his rescue raft, he plucks her from peril. But on the way to dry land, she decides to have one more dip in the ice bath. Police officers in China respond to reports an elderly man is sinking fast in a boggy beach. Officers come up with an ingenious way to reach him. But when the infantry fail, they bring in the big guns to dig him out of danger. Mother Nature can be messy, but at least he got to shower before heading to hospital. Avalanches kill 150 people per year. Many victims are skiers, choosing to pass on safer ski runs to venture off-piste. The village of Verbier in the Swiss Alps is surrounded by untouched mountain slopes. Seasonal snowfall and 10,000-foot peaks make it one of the best backcountry ski resorts in the world.
When you're skiing off-piste, you want to find the best snow that's on the mountain. Yeah, that's what we're after.
Swedish-born Christopher Carlson began skiing as soon as he could walk. His favorite pastime these days is skiing off the beaten track on looser virgin snow.
You need to be aware of how high the avalanche risk is, and you also need to bring the right equipment. You need shovels and transceivers. So if anyone would get buried, you need to know what to do in that situation.
February 2011, and 2 days of snowfall coat the slopes with 5 feet of fluffy white powder.
It's like jumping around in cotton. It's really soft and fresh and light powder snow, so that's what you're after.
Christopher and friends have been skiing all day and choose to tackle one final slope.
There's a superstition and a saying that goes that you should always skip the last run of the day, because that's when different accidents happen. We were quite high up, I believe, at 9,000 feet. And of course the view was beautiful. I was really looking forward to this run. I saw my friends go down first. I heard them screaming and shouting out of joy, and I couldn't wait until it was my turn to start skiing.
With his friends a safe distance in front, Christopher takes his turn.
My friends chose a different line down to the skier's left side, but I noticed that there was like a big pack of untouched snow to the right, so I decided to take that run for myself. I had maybe 3 or 4 turns before I ended up on a ridge. And on this ridge the snow was just perfect. And I didn't realize that the snow was building up as I skied. And then all of a sudden, like a lightning bolt, it just threw my feet away and I started tumbling down the mountainside. I first thought that I just tripped on a rock or something and I started tumbling. But I came to a stop. I'm not hurt and I'm on the surface and everything is good. And I tried to stand up.
But beneath him, a weaker layer of compressed snow gives way, triggering a fully blown avalanche.
In a split second, the entire mountainside collapsed. It was drawn down underneath and I wasn't able to stay on the surface. Then it all came to a stop and it was quiet and I realized that something was really, really wrong.
With his friends hundreds of feet away, Christopher is buried alive under half a ton of snow.
I wasn't able to move except for my left hand, which was in front of my mouth. So I was able to scrape away some snow and create a small air pocket. But then after a few seconds I realized that it was really hard to breathe because of the pressure on my chest of all the snow. It made it almost impossible to expand the chest for every breath. So it was really hard trying not to panic. I was telling myself to stay calm because I knew that if I use up too much oxygen then I wouldn't survive that long underneath.
An excruciating 3.5 minutes pass, and Christopher sees no sign of rescue.
I didn't know how big the avalanche was, so I really had no idea if my friends were buried as well or if they were still on the surface. And then, of course, thoughts of my family and my girlfriend, all of my friends really started to get to me. I started to lose hope a bit, I guess, and I was starting to get afraid that my friends wouldn't be able to dig me up.
Snow regularly causes mayhem in the mountains, but it can also bring cities to a standstill. In northern China, the city of Qiqihara is besieged by the biggest blizzard in 37 years. Smothering the city in snow and stopping residents in their tracks. This man thinks he's found his camouflage car. Stumped by the snowstorm, he's lost his bearings and his vehicle. In Verbier, Switzerland, Christopher Carlson has been trapped under an avalanche for almost 4 minutes. The chances of finding him under 6 feet of compacted snow are similar to searching for a needle in a haystack.
I started to take in the thought that I might be dying at this moment. But I tried to push that thought away because I knew that if I started to panic, I would start hyperventilating and I would have used up all the oxygen that I had left.
Using the very last of his strength, Christopher calls out.
I think I was starting to lose hope that I was going to get rescued, so I just decided to scream as loud as I possibly could.
Another agonizing minute passes.
I heard one of my friends' voices. I couldn't hear them until maybe like 3 or 4 seconds before my face was freed out of the snow. It was really amazing to draw the first breath of free air when they got the snow away from in front of my mouth. And they moved me to my back and I saw the blue sky. I was just so happy knowing that no one else was underneath and of course that I was going to survive. At this point, I just thought like, am I hurt or not? And I realized that I wasn't in pain at all.
This is so amazing.
Despite feeling okay, Christopher is airlifted to the nearest hospital.
Then it was like a huge relief, of course, for me being alive and unhurt and all of my friends still being alive as well. So it was, it's hard to describe that feeling.
After a quick health check, he's discharged. And the very next day, courageous Christopher is back on the slopes.
I feel very lucky, of course, being alive. I am extremely grateful towards my friends. They saved my life and I try to tell them as often as I could that I'm so grateful and happy that they were with me that day.
Alta in Norway, 230 miles north of the Arctic Circle. During the perpetual night of winter, snow falls and the earth freezes. And during summer's midnight sun, the ice melts and the soil softens, leaving communities vulnerable to potentially deadly landslides.
Once I was stuck on the road because a little slide, but nothing like this.
19 years ago, Janus Botteby bought a plot of land in the seaside hamlet of Keirognersø.
Me and my father built this together. We built a main building there. And I also was building this 2 buildings beside this. So I have done a very much work there. And it was so quiet and a nice place with a beautiful view.
It's early June 2020, and Janus notices some unusual weather conditions.
The winter we had was very much snow and much more than usual, even twice as much as usually.
Janus's wife spots the first sign of subsidence.
Actually saw a gap in the road, but that wasn't a big thing anyway. It would be easy to fix up again.
Mid-afternoon the next day, and Janus is home alone when the land around him starts crashing into the sea.
I didn't take anything with me except the phone and my shoes.
Janus runs to safety, just as some of his property topples off a cliff. His main house teeters on a newly formed cliff, and his annexes have sunk 15 feet. In the forest behind, trees continue to fall. And on the road, cracks appear in front of him.
When the ground was tearing apart under me, I was thinking that now I have to get out of there. It was very much cracking and sharp noises. I realized when I was going away from there the last time, then I understand that they all will go.
Janus finds safety further up the hill.
You knew that no, it will happen something big. And then you saw the land slowly start to move. It was kind of awful sounds. I was a long way from this big landslide, and still it was very noisy.
Janus's home is engulfed by the sea, along with all of his family's possessions.
My thought was that all was gone. It was very personal loss.
Most of the village is swallowed up by the sea. Now, with suspected casualties in the water, the Norwegian rescue helicopter service take to the air. On board is rescue swimmer Mats Harvard.
When we got scrambled, we couldn't imagine what really was waiting. There have been landslide or avalanche. It has gone over a road and taken several buildings out in the sea. This could be a pretty huge scenario, a pretty huge mission. This was not a joke.
The rescue teams search the area. Locals confirm the village is fully vacated, with the exception of one resident. Janus's neighbor's dog hasn't been spotted since the landslide.
He was very upset, and he really thought that he never will see him again. But I said to him, he's a dog and he can swim, and you never know.
We talked on the radio with the emergency units on site, and we were told that it might be a dog in the wreckages. At the very, very end of the search, we could suddenly see this dog was sitting there, helpless.
Mats is winched down towards the wreckage, but must keep visual on the petrified pooch in case it runs off.
The dog is grey, and of course all this wreckage is dirty, it's brownish, greyish, and it was hiding within some wreckage, so it was very hard to see. When we pick up dogs, it can always be a risk to get bitten. don't attend any dog school to get training for such situations, but you just have to try. But as I touched the ground with my feet, the dog came to me. I think the dog understood that we were there for helping her. Sat down and was pretty much helping itself, getting the rescue harness on, and that was pretty amazing. Made our day very easy. And I got her lift up from the zone. It was a very good feeling. Yeah, just the same as if they were a human being.
The lucky pup is reunited with its owner. But the massive landslide dragged nearly 100 meters of shoreline into the sea, taking with it 8 homes, including the house that Janis built himself.
I really hope no one else will have to see the same that I did. But luckily, it was no lost lives. We have to be thankful for that. I think next time I came up to this, I just run away a little bit faster, in case.
The after effects of rain and snow can bring earth-shattering consequences. In 2020, catastrophic Indian monsoons mean drainage systems are struggling to cope. A deluge in Delhi erodes riverbanks so fast it tears down trees in seconds. Crowds gather to gawp at the spectacle. But the seriousness of the situation eventually hits home. Onlookers are horrified, but no one was hurt. In the Himalayas, a landslide cascades 4 miles down a mountain before piling up behind a village shopping center. The building buckles under the pressure, and the weight of the mud crushes the market. No one is injured, but the local economy is reduced to dust. Also in India, raging floodwaters attract a crowd. But curiosity turns to chaos as the bank breaks away. The man cheats death by the skin of his teeth, but still emerges with a smile. In this episode, we've witnessed that wind can turn your backyard into a blast furnace. We've seen that cycling in a cyclone could easily end in broken bones. And we've learnt skiing off the beaten track can bring on an avalanche of trouble. And next time, there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.